Americans who don't like California. Why? It's expensive. California is an incredible place. But if you don't have absurd amounts of money, don't expect it to be a comfortable place to live. I live in California, and one of my biggest issues is that the road infrastructure is really terribly designed, especially for how populated the area is. Like some freeways and intersections feel like they were designed to intentionally cause traffic jams. Cost of living here is awful. I'm scared of Anthony Kiedis. Flea is cool though. Not enough water. I'm from CA. I enjoy the beach and the mountains. But I hate how populated it is. I hate the cost of living. And I hate the taxes. I moved away years ago and only come back for short trips. I could never live there again. Most people who say they hate California really just hate LA and stereotype Californians. I grew up in California. Once I moved away for school and then moved back for work, it just never felt right. I lived in various areas. Central Coast, SoCal, Central Valley. It just doesn't feel right. The prices played a big factor. But I just felt sick of the whole state. So we moved. And there's definitely a stigma when people find out you moved from California. Too expensive and homelessness issues that make New York look tame by comparison. The best way I describe living in California is you are working to stay poor. Don't dislike it, but the fires and droughts would disqualify it as a place I'd like to live. My CCW has no reciprocity. I love California. It is one of the most beautiful, diverse places I have ever lived. But I left because of some extraordinary problems. 1. Completely unaffordable housing pretty much anywhere there is at least a decent quality school district. 2. Severe wildfires every summer impacting air quality for weeks at a time. Getting worse and worse. 3. Such frequent moving around, e.g. moving from rental to rental or home to home, that it is difficult to form lasting personal relationships with other people. Which also impacts how much and whether people care about local politics, issues, infrastructure, etc. Since they don't know they'll really be there that long. Makes it easy for politicians to do all kinds of nefarious things on a local level. 4. While intellectual life in Los Angeles is quite vibrant, as long as you are not in the industry, many people have traded actually considering the trade-offs of life and the nuance that comes with such things for ignorance in ideology. It's hard to find people who want to have a real conversation and or are interested in such things, unless they concern sports, entertainment, and which restaurants are good. 5. Few places were designed with families in mind, and few locales have places for families to meet up and do activities. Being outside with nature is kind of the default, which is certainly wonderful. But the overall infrastructure for families is thin, outside of the school systems themselves. For the record, I love California. Big Sur is otherworldly. I'm only mad that I can't afford to live there. The northern half of the state doesn't even want to be associated with the southern part but get lumped in with them. It's really sad to see people complain about how expensive California is, when home prices are the same as where I live in Ontario, Canada. And it's minus 10 degrees Celsius right now. I'll speak for Bay Area, it's great for the most part. But people here seem to have a holier-than-thou attitude when it comes to mostly two things: fitness and imposing liberal views during conversations. The let's hike and bike and climb all the fucking time and it's the best hobby to have and you're an unhey. All the loser if you disagree, and Let's act and talk like we know and care about everything that happens anywhere in the world and protest on the streets trope is annoying. Because I live here, I don't have a problem with them being over there doing their thing. But it's not a place I'd like to live. There just isn't much that appeals. And what does appeal is priced a lot higher than it's worth. Edit. Highly recommend visiting though. Tons of great parks and nature. Hiking. City tourist stuff if you're into it. I just wouldn't want to be doing my day-to-day there. I liked the place and disliked the people. Going into California with a rural NC accent didn't do me any favors though. Most Americans are annoyed by Californians being pretentious. California obviously has a severe cost of living issue in many areas, but it is a fascinating and beautiful state. It is routinely used by the GOP as a straw man for anything and everything wrong with being socially and fiscally liberal. I don't actively dislike California, but fuck living there. People living lives of disgusting opulence right next to people living in abysmal poverty. It just rubs me the wrong way. 'Cause you take all our water. Colorado. I have visited a few times. I don't hate it personally. But I'm not a fan either. The biggest issue I had was with the people always thinking that California was better than everywhere else in the US. It gets really annoying to hear after the first few times. And everyone I met was saying it. I don't plan to go back.